Hey guys, Jamie Clifford, Presidential Diamond. I want to talk a minute about getting discouraged, getting down on yourself. I am seeing, it happens too much. It breaks my heart. I see people, they get discouraged because they've been a distributor for a week and they haven't signed up anybody. And I just want to shake them and be like, it is perfectly fine. This business is not made to get you rich overnight, and that's okay. Um, you know, what's important is if you stick with it. You don't give up too quickly. You understand that this is not a get rich thing overnight. You're not gonna sign up and make thousands of dollars within, your first month. There's some stories out there of people coming in the business and immediately they start promoting, they get to diamond, double diamond, triple diamond super fast. But the reality is it's not normal. It's pretty rare to, come in the business and just, do that well that fast. I mean, it takes time and it doesn't have to be that way. Like I said, there are stories of people that, they do promote fast, but most people, it takes time and that's fine. But what is important is if you just, you stay willing to learn, you don't give up, you don't let yourself get discouraged. You learn ways to, find customers and distributors. You grow as a person, as a leader. If you give it time, you're going to succeed. If you read books about multi-level marketing, they're going to tell you, that things like this take time. It takes time to become successful and make good money in multi-level marketing. But once you do, it's so worth it. You'll realize that, putting in the hard work for, for a while, for a year, it totally pays off. Myself, I didn't even get to Ruby, I think, for like 4 or 5 months. It took me 10 months to get to Diamond. It took me 16 months, I think, to get to Presidential. I say it all the time, but there was a point when Thomas actually, told me that, maybe I should quit because I was working too hard for the amount of money that I was making. But, okay, so let that be an example to you. If I would have listened to him, if I would have felt that way, if I didn't see the bigger picture, I would have quit. I would have given up, and now I wouldn't be where I'm at. Thomas and I are able to both be stay-at-home parents. We have been now for for a while. I think when I was double diamond, I think Thomas withdrew his application for dental school. He was actually going to be a dentist, and we started doing so well, and he finally saw the vision like I saw it, and so he actually decided that he wasn't even going to go to school to be a dentist anymore. He was going to do this with me, and we've never looked back. But, so it goes from him, telling me at one point that I was making about 10 cents an hour for what I was doing, to, him withdrawing from dental school to do this with me. Now we get to be stay-at-home parents. I just had a new baby. He's 2 months old now. He's never had to be away from us. We're top income earners in the company, but it's because I kept working. I kept trying to find things that worked for me. I kept trying to figure out what it was that did work for me because I saw the bigger picture. I heard the stories of people making amazing money. And even though it took me, a crazy amount of time to get to where I'm at, I didn't want to give up. I knew I was not going to give up. So I hate to see people just get discouraged within their first week, their first couple weeks, even their first few months, because they're just not doing, what they want to be doing. Just be willing to, learn, to grow as a person. You have to stay positive. You have to be willing to try things to figure out what is going to work for you, because not that the same things don't work for everybody. Now I do most of my business on Facebook, and I think sometimes people see that and then so they're like, well, I'm going to do all my business on Facebook. But also, that's what some people need to understand, is that it wasn't like that for me in the beginning. It took me time to build up, my Facebook page. It took me a lot of time to build up my Facebook page. In the beginning, just like everybody else, I had to blitz. I had to, talk to my friends that I knew personally. I had to post on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, to people that, I've known my whole life. I've had to do wrap parties. I did events, bridal shows, different vendor fairs, stuff like that. It wasn't always just, coming from Facebook. So I did all that stuff while I was building up, my Facebook page. And all of that took a lot of time. You do not get 70,000 Facebook fans overnight. It's taken me 3 years now, but it's been worth it. I've stuck with it. I decided, that I wanted to make this work, and I never looked back. So I hate, it breaks my heart to see people come in the business and they just, they want to give up after a month or two because they're not making the kind of money that they want to make. But, like I said earlier, like, if you stick with it, won't it be worth it to work hard for, 5, 6 months, even 6 months to a year? Wouldn't that be worth it to be able to make, $5,000, $10,000 a month, doing this from home, working when you want, how you want, where you want, being your own boss? To me, it was totally worth it, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. There's a quote that says something like, once your mind expands, it'll never go back. And it's so true because, now I have seen like what, It Works can do for people, and I will never have a regular job ever again. I will do It Works the rest of my life, but it's just one of those things, like, it just blew me away that, I never even, until I heard of It Works, I never even knew that, something like this was possible. But anyway, so I want to share this with you guys because I think it's super important. It's some sales statistics. So when you're feeling discouraged and, you feel like maybe you're not doing something right because you haven't got people to sign up with you or order from you, whatever. This is something that, you really need to remember. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to read this to you because it's just so true, and it seriously will help you if you can, like, get this through your brain that it's okay, because it says 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. Okay, so that's one thing that we talk about all the time, is how important it is to be following up with people. When somebody contacts you that they're interested in something, just because they don't order right then, you need to follow up with them. That's so important. And it's saying 48% of people will never follow up with a prospect. So keep that in mind. Okay, and then it says 25% of salespeople make a second contact and then stop. So 25% of people will, recontact the person one time. And then if they don't order or sign up with them, then they stop. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. Okay, then this is where it gets really interesting. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. Okay, only 2% of all sales are made when you, like, the very first time that you talk to somebody about something. So that's pretty huge. Okay, 3% of sales are made on the second contact. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact. 80% of sales, 80%, okay, of sales are made on the 5th to the 12th contact. Think about that, okay? It may take 12 times or more that you are talking to somebody or that you are following up with somebody before they actually order from you or join your team. And see, that's where people don't realize that, so they don't want to follow up that much. They feel like they're going to bother the person, and sometimes, that's just not true. You don't have to be pushy. There's ways to, follow up with people and just let them know that, you're just checking in to see if they're still interested, even if they can't order at this time, you just want to check in. There's a difference between, doing that and being pushy. So I think that is huge. It's so important for people to remember, like, you cannot get discouraged too quickly. 80% of sales are made from the 5th to the 12th contact. That is why you stay consistent, when you talk to people about products and you're sharing it with people. That's why you stay consistent with doing events and wrap parties, and you invite the same people to your wrap parties. Doesn't even matter. That's why you stay consistent with your posts on your social media sites too, Facebook, Instagram, whatever else you use. You stay consistent with posting because that that percentage applies to people too. Like, people are going to see your post just because they don't contact you the first, the second, third, fourth time that they see, your post about the body wraps or your post about greens. That doesn't mean that they're not going to eventually be like, okay, you know what? That caught my attention. I'm going to contact her about that. So that's why we talk as leaders all the time about how important it is to not get discouraged, to always stay positive. You do not give up too quickly. And most importantly, you have to stay consistent. That means even when you feel like nobody is paying attention to you, nobody cares about what you're offering, you still have to post and you still have to show your excitement for the products and what you're doing. You still have to post it over and over. Even when you feel like maybe it's pointless or you're wasting your time, I promise you it's not. I still get people who I have known before, I knew personally before I ever started at Works. I still get people that message me 3 years later and, are just now interested in the wraps or signing up as a distributor on my team. So that's just some stuff I wanted to share with you guys because it makes me sad to see, when people get discouraged too quickly. So I hope that helps. I hope that, you guys let that sink in, that 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. I mean, that is huge. And, once you understand that and you understand that it takes time and you just don't give up, then you're going to see success and you're going to get to where you want and you're going to start making the kind of money that you want. So just remember that and just stay positive.